Blair Feltmate is the head of the Intact Center on Climate Adaptation at the University of Waterloo and has been doing some work on this. Blair, thank you for your time. I appreciate you joining us.
Well, thank you very much for having me.
So, I mean, we have rules to keep people warm in the winter. Why not have rules to keep them cool in the summer, right? I mean, really, it's that simple, isn't it?
It's that simple, and then increasingly so. We're seeing, what things look like when stuff goes wrong relative to extreme heat. For example, in 2021 in British Columbia, we had 619 people die prematurely due to extreme heat. In 2018 in Quebec, we had 86 people die prematurely due to extreme heat, and there is more extreme heat on the way. So increasingly so, the evidence is we're getting more extreme heat, and when it goes wrong, the impacts can be lethal.
So just in terms of the rules around warmth, I mean, are they standardized across the country? Are there rules? Like if you're a landlord, do you have to ensure that whatever you're renting out has the ability to be warmed?
Yes, and generally speaking, it's at the provincial level. Provinces have declarations on human rights, and in that declaration, right now, it's recognized that we have access to warmth, and then some declarations have been adjusted to make access to cooling a fundamental human right. For example, I'm in Ontario. The Ontario Human Rights Commission mandates that access to cooling to extreme heat, that is recognized as a human right.
Gotcha. Okay. How do we go about doing this? What would the mandate state? Like, what would the rule be? Is there a set temperature, or how would it work?
26 degrees Celsius is sort of the rule of thumb, if you will, on maximum temperature realized in rented units. And that may sound like a little bit low, like some people might say, 26 degrees Celsius, I can do okay. But for people who are on the edge of respiratory and cardiac challenges, once you start to get over 26, 27 degrees Celsius, that's when they can start to experience problems. So you've got to think about it in terms of the most vulnerable people in the population, who might succumb first. And it's that group. The other group that's really stressed when you get into that temperature range and higher, it's the elderly. Generally speaking, people over 70 years of age realize the impact of extreme heat. As a matter of fact, people over 70 years of age of limited financial means, living alone, that's the number one group in Canada that is the most vulnerable. These are the people that die disproportionately so when the extreme heat hits.
Okay, so in terms of the cost and just the logistics of trying to do this, is this an instance where, okay, you've got a 30-unit apartment block, you need to now put in 30 different air conditioning units, or can there be a centralized space? I guess part of this needs to be worked out, but what do you envision?
No, I think it's going to be, I think there's two components to it. One is it's going to be individual air conditioning units and or heat pumps, which a heat pump in the summer is an air conditioner.
Yeah.
And I think it should, in my view at least, let's be practical. Let's start with a bit of a means test for the people who have the least capacity to actually purchase a 5,000 BTU air conditioner or equivalent and heat pump. Let's start with those people that limited financial means and they're elderly. In other words,
okay,
the people that need the help the most, let's start with them.
And it's the landlord's responsibility to pay for it, or is government involved, or who foots the bill on this?
That hasn't really been worked out yet, but a combination of both. But when you look at it, for example, and I'm not guessing about this because I thought you might ask, you can buy, for example, a 5,000 BTU air conditioner at any one of Canadian Tire, Home Depot, etc., for about $150. And that will last on average 10 years. So that's $15 per year. And if you need it during June, July, and August, that's $5 per month. So really, $5 per month to potentially save someone's life, or at the very least make their life an awful lot more comfortable, that's a pretty good deal. And it seems to me through some combination of the landlord, the renter, government subsidy, we could hobble that amount of money together.
And what about, because I've seen some people talk about, hey, we're going to have a general area within the building where people can go to cool. I mean, I guess that might be a good stopgap measure, but you say that's not going to do it. We need more than that.
I think you need more than that. So, but should we have cool rooms in buildings? The answer is yes.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
That's a given. But I also think if you look at it within the context of, someone who's elderly, maybe on a walker, it's difficult to come in and out of their unit, et cetera. I think we want to prepare for people in the most dire condition, not those who can do a little bit more by way of fending for themselves.
Are these conversations happening? Is this just theoretical at this point? How far along the road are we here, Blair?
No, we're having them a lot across the country in a variety of major cities. So, because as a general rule of thumb, between now and 2050 to 2080, for most Canadian cities, the maximum summer temperature that's going to be realized, the hottest temperature realized in the summer, that is going to increase for most cities by about 3 to 5 degrees Celsius. And the number of hot days over 30 degrees Celsius is going to double, triple, or in some cases, quadruple between now and 2050 to 2030. So the extreme heat is coming, period. So we need to prepare.
Well, yeah, I mean, take a look at what's going on this month alone here in Alberta, and it's obvious. It's very, very hot. Blair, interesting conversation. Thanks for being with us. I appreciate your time.
Oh, well, thank you very much for having me.